Okay, hey guys, how you doing? So, I promised this video to a friend 2 days ago, and I still haven't gotten it out. So here I'm recording the audio, and I'll put a visual on once I can figure out what to show. Basically, this is a viewer question, and the question was by Litha. I'm not sure your YouTube name. I'll put it in the annotation in the description. Check out his channel. But the question was, did you ever suffer from problems in communicating in the local language when traveling, and if so, how did I overcome it? That's a good question. And this is a question that a lot of people wonder when they travel. So, what did I do? Well, here, I'll give you a story. Uh, probably within the first month I was in Israel. I was taking a bus. I can't remember from where to where. It was probably from Jerusalem to where I was staying. It was about an hour ride bus. So I got on the bus, and you have to pay the driver before you get on, just like any bus. So I knew barely any Hebrew at that point, and I still don't know very much Hebrew right now. But at that point, I knew even less. So what happened was, it was my turn to give the bus driver the money. I had no idea, I asked in Hebrew, commas, how much is this, meaning the ticket. People don't really speak like that anyways, but it worked. So he answered me in Hebrew, saying that I asked him in Hebrew. And he rattled off, a number, and I never learned the numbers beyond double digits in Hebrew. So I just never put the effort toward it. So I just took out my wallet and gave him what I thought was probably more than enough, thinking that he'd give me change. But obviously it wasn't enough. I think I gave him probably 20 shekels. And from Jerusalem, I think the bus ticket costed, I think, around 27 or 25 shekel. So he said, Od Kesef. I didn't understand. I thought that meant, oh, okay, thank you, have a nice day, go back to your seat, sit down, don't bother me again. So what happened was I started to walk away, and he blurted out in English, and he yelled across the whole bus saying, more money, give me more money. So I'm not very good at imitating Israelis when they're mad, but let me tell you, that really put me on my toes. So so obviously I took out the money. I kept handing him more shekels until he said, "Zo, enough." So then I sat down, and the whole ride I was thinking about what did he say in Hebrew, and I pieced the words together, od, and that's how I learned the word more. Od meaning more, so od kesef, more money. And that's pretty much how I overcame language barriers, by making a fool of myself. And that's how you learn it. You learn the hard way. In my opinion, there's no best way to learn a language than to make mistakes. Another story was in the village where I was staying. There were a lot of kids, and I was pretty friendly with some of them, even though they didn't speak English and I didn't speak Hebrew. But we would, wave, or sometimes play catch. Not little kids, not elementary school age. But one day I was walking, and kids would walk to school usually in the morning. So I was walking, and this little kid stopped and asked, what did he say? Oh yeah, he said, "Slicha," which is excuse me, "Slicha, איך קוראים לך?" God, why am I blanking out on this now? This isn't good. I learned it. I forgot, since I haven't spoken Hebrew in a while. I'll put in the annotation. But basically, he asked, "How are you called?" which is a figure of speech, for saying, "What's your name?" And I had no idea what he was asking, so I just pointed. I thought maybe he asked, "Where do I live?" or something like that. It's a small village, but I pointed, and he just kind of gave me this weird look, like, "Are you an idiot?" So later that day, it didn't, look, I was a kid. It didn't bother me. But later that day, I asked a friend who knows Hebrew better than me, what does that mean? And he said, "Oh, he was asking your name." So that's another way. Again, making mistakes. Um, there were plenty of times where I've made some pretty bad mistakes. I mean, where I almost got lost on the bus. But the thing is, and especially in a lot of places now, especially in the younger generation, people will speak English, especially if you have money. Um, but that's pretty much it. I mean, the only way to overcome it, language barrier, is in lack of communication. Is make mistakes. There's no best way, because you could go to class and learn the language in the school, and there will be no way you can learn the real language besides for just being on the street. So that's about it. Oh, and actually there's another thing. Doesn't really have to do with the question. It has to do with language. Last time I was coming back to the States, they stopped me at the border patrol in Israel, not in the States. And there was I've been in Israel for a year since then. And they stopped me at the border patrol, and they asked, oh, so you've been here for quite some time. They looked at my visa, they looked at my passport. So they asked, oh, so I have a feeling they wanted to switch from English to Hebrew since that's what they were most comfortable with. So they asked, oh, so do you know Hebrew? And I was like, nope, which is true. Because unfortunately, even though I was in Israel for probably almost a year, if not more than a year, I was around English speakers, which was a big mistake. I could have gone out of my bubble and forced myself to speak more than I could have, but I didn't, and that's going to be one of my goals, especially in the future. It's going back there. So they were really surprised, like, you didn't learn any Hebrew at all. And I was lying a little bit, because I learned like Od, and I learned some things to hold the basic conversation, but at the same time making myself look stupid. But I didn't really want to have to like explain the whole thing or whatnot, so I just kind of said no. So they eventually let me do it. Thought it kind of weird, not suspicious, but I think it's kind of like weird and like I was maybe stupid. So not sounding stupid kind of made me sound stupid. But yeah, I think the basic, the general rule for learning a language, I don't know about maybe some of the Eastern Asian languages, such as Chinese or Mandarin. Those may take a little longer, but I think the basic rule for learning language on the street is probably 6 months, and that's if you're completely immersed in the language. I've seen people tremendously improve within like a month, just from making fools of themselves. That's the only way to do it. And once you get over that barrier of having the phobia of not wanting to make a fool of yourself, you'll be so much better off. So I don't want to make this video too long, but that's pretty much it. So I hope that answered your question. Sorry to have gone on for almost 10 minutes. Maybe I'll edit this down. But if you have any further questions, Litha, and that goes for anybody, please ask in the comment, question, subscribe, send me a PM. I'm on Twitter also. That's all in the description. So have a good time and have a good travel, and hope you enjoyed this video.